The topic of our group research is an investigation into the teacher's feedback behavior in secondary school SLL classroom in China. Before the research presentation, please allow me to introduce our group members. Our leader is Tang Rongman, and the members are Liu Yuanyuan, Guo Mengyao, Sun Mengyao, and me, Chen Lenming. Before we hand in this video, we have group discussion, and each of us in the group has a clear division, and we work together to make our working smoothly and productively. And finally, we are so proud that we did this research presentation. Now, let's get into it. The content of this presentation includes 8 sections: research background, research purposes, research questions, literature review, research methodology, research instruments, data analysis, and the last part, anticipated ethical and practical issues. In the section of research background, we try to point out that the reason why we choose this topic. As one of the Sustainable Development Goals, the right to education is one of the biggest driving forces of sustainable development, and access to high-quality education is the basis for improving people's lives and achieving other sustainable development. And because of this background, we put our research into the field of education. What's more, based on our working experience as English teachers, we found teacher feedback is of great significance in improving the quality of language learning and teaching. So, our research is taking Chinese secondary school as an example and conduct a study on the teacher's feedback behavior in the SLL classroom. As mentioned above, teacher feedback plays a role in improving the effectiveness of language teaching and the learner's learning. A lot of researches and discussions are theoretically conducted on different feedback types and corrective feedback. However, few studies concern the different types of teacher feedback on classroom interaction in secondary school. Therefore, this study is designed to survey the use of teacher feedback in English classes within a normal junior high school in China. In terms of the different types of feedback adopted by teachers, the teachers and students' preferences on teacher feedback, as well as the effect of feedback on classroom interaction. We hope our research may provide some referential suggestions for the use of feedback in English classroom teaching. As mentioned, this research aims to explore teacher feedback, and 3 questions are required to be solved. First, what are the types of teacher feedback distributed in junior high school English classroom? 2. What are the attitudes of teachers and students toward teacher feedback reflected in English classroom teaching respectively? 3. What are the effects of different types of teacher feedback on classroom interaction? Now, let's step into the section of literature review. In this section, we focus on 3 points, including studies review of teacher feedback and classroom interaction, as well as related researches on teacher feedback, both at home and abroad. First, considering review of studies on teacher feedback. The definition of teacher feedback we discussed in this research is given, which refers to the evaluative discourse of teachers' responses for students' classroom performance in order to facilitate the students to acquire second language learning. What's more, the classifications of teacher feedback also be discussed by analyzing different views from different researchers. Next, functions of teacher feedback are discussed, and we divide them into 4 functions. And in the end of this part, we try to emphasize that a lot of researchers show that students prefer to accept positive feedback from teachers, while negative feedback makes students lose self-esteem. For the review of study on classroom interaction, we first illustrate the definition of it, and we indicate that the language learning is a dynamic process which involves different aspects of cognitive processing, emotional change, and social interaction. In a classroom interaction, language input and output are influenced by differential triggers and feedback from teachers. And thus, feedback in general should be viewed as a continuum and optimized through two-way dialogue feedback. The last part of literature review is about research on teacher feedback both at home and abroad. In this part, we try to show a full map of the research on teacher feedback from the perspectives of linguistics, teachers' discourse, and language teaching. What we try to emphasize is that relevant studies on junior high schools present a tiny proportion, and further researches need to be combined theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. In this session, we intend to study the influence of teacher feedback on classroom interaction. As for this, mixed method research will be used. Quantitative research acts as a vital instrument implemented in this research for the sake of obtaining more comprehensive and in-depth information of teacher feedback. Qualitative approach could help the research to better understand the reason why a particular group possesses higher interaction. To be more specifically, we will select 4 English teachers and 200 students in a normal junior high school as the subjects of the questionnaire survey. And the instruments that we used to collect data include 3. The first instrument is questionnaire. As you can see, the questionnaire was designed with the Likert 5 Likert scale and 20 questions are set up. The second instrument is observation sheet, and a scale for it is also presented here. The last instrument is interview, and the related questions are designed to shed light on the participants' inner activities, real thoughts, and opinions. Now, how do we do with the data we collect? Here is a flow chart. Briefly speaking, we will summarize the distribution and frequency of teacher feedback by using SPSS. Also, the SPSS in Excel 2000 will be used to analyze the questionnaire data. The last part in our research presentation is about anticipated, ethical, and practical issues. The main practical issue of this research is that formal permission to enter the secondary school and to observe the class process will be sought from the director of the school. It requires strict outline of the research purpose. During the research, participants' leaflets and consent forms will be made in order to let teachers have brief understanding about what we will going to do. In the audio recording section, it will be taking place in a private way, especially to the students. They will not be informed of there is a research. However, they will be given notification after the class observation. After that, when we are transferring this recording into transcript, the student's name presented in it will be replaced by Alice's, and the name of the school as well as teachers and students will all be incognito. All data collected during research will be note-taking or transcript. The electronic record copies of this data will be stored on a computer with password. Thank you for your watching.